Great. The stream is starting, and I'm actively not there. That's always a good sign. Good streamer, so professional. Yes, yes. Give me 1 second, people. I say, as usually, to no one. But you watching the VOD also give me a second. I'm not cutting this out. Let's be so for real right now. I'm not doing that. Instead, I can tell you what I'm gonna do instead. Gonna listen to this with you. Hope that the video doesn't spoil me, you know? Also not gonna look too intently, because I am gonna prepare my bong. My what? Really spoiling me, isn't it? Ah. Here we go. Alright. I guess we're gonna have to stare at the menu screen. I don't understand why these visual novels put on these like animated intro scenes, but then they spoil shit. Like Higurashi does the same thing, and it just spoils shit. Like what? Terrible. Why would you do that? I have also looked more into the patch, and I can't have it because I didn't download the game from Steam or from GOG. I cannot have it. So yeah, that is sucky. But that is just something I'm gonna have to live with, and when I'm done with the playthrough, I'm gonna go on YouTube and maybe do a little bonus stream and look at all the content that I haven't had, or the differences that the patch would have made. Now, excuse me for a second. Gonna give you the ASMR experience. You would think people would get used to it. Like, stoners would just get used to it and not cough. Maybe they do. Maybe I just have a massive skill issue, but I have not gotten used to it yet. Also pleasant noises. Ice cubes in the glass are such a comfort noise for me. Alright. I am ready. Let's get into this. The story has officially started. Shit is mildly interesting. Let's see. How am I gonna do this? Because I'm sitting slightly different than usual. Like that. Okay. That looks good. Amina! Oh shit, my cat has found the salami. You little bitch! Look at this bitch. Yeah. Yeah, you. Bad cat. Hey! Don't you play my game for me, missus? Alright. This is officially the longest I've taken to actually start the game in any stream. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Here we go. Let's see what my cat skipped. No? It's gone? Great. What did you do? Jesus. You. You can see her, actually. That's cute. 4 a.m. Shibuya is a city that never sleeps, but at this hour there were few people at Scramble Crossing in front of the station. Instead, the square was filled with taxis, there to ferry home drunks who couldn't wait for the first train. Most of the taxi drivers had their seats pulled back so they could nap. A few of them, though, took their jobs more seriously. They leaned forward on the wheel and watched the 107 building and Center Street. But tonight, they weren't watching for potential customers. They were watching with interest a cleaning crew that had appeared about half an hour earlier. How did they know it was a cleaning crew? Because each of the men wore a yellow armband with the words cleaning crew on it. That'll do. Otherwise no one would have ever associated them with the term. The men were wearing black suits, and the whole time they'd been there, they showed no sign of starting to clean anything. If this is like a secret government organization and this is their undercover bullshit, then this is so bad. One of the men held a strange measuring device that looked like some kind of pendulum, and others were around him using it to take readings of some kind. They weren't staying in one place either. They were going all around Scramble Crossing and taking measurements that they would then write onto a piece of paper. Right now they were directly under a traffic light, silently watching the pendulum device. It made a sound. Yo, cleaner. Point L2 8,062 mega GE, a new high score. 38 points higher than last month, huh? Just what we thought. But no one in Shibuya that night was watching the cleaning crew that closely, though. As soon as a passenger climbed into a cab, its driver quickly forgot about the cleaners. And most of the drunks had already passed out and were in no position to look at what was going on around them. The cabaret girls and prostitutes, finally free of the stress that came with smiling at nasty drunks for hours, were getting into taxis to quickly return home. And so no one realized that the government had not announced any plans to clean Scramble Crossing that night. Name, anonymous this afternoon, the new generation madness. Okay, it's the same. Even after the weekend ended, the furor over the fourth new gen madness case, the Vampire. Wait. Vampire? Vampire. 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 I don't know how to say it. It all sounds goofy as fuck. The vampire showed no signs of slowing down. The corpse of a man drained completely of blood, his skin turning a slick, inhumane green. It was found in a toilet on the Shibuya Inokashira line. Not only that, a photo of the corpse was put on an online auction site at about the same time the corpse was found. The bizarre, cruel nature of the murder meant the media and Ad Channel were sure to leap on it. The message on the auction page had also attracted a lot of attention. There is a shortage of type B blood. Large number of tissue packets advertising blood donations with that exact text had been handed out in Shibuya. Yo. Booyah. Booyah. I should have made it smaller. The bong hit, that is. That was stupid of me, but at least this game is way more entertaining than usually. Not that it's boring ever, I enjoy it, but okay, not ever. It is boring at times, but it's like good. I like it. I made it 3 Igarashi, so I can take it. I had a packet of them with me right now. Thinking back, that strange text wasn't an ad for blood donations at all. It was an announcement predicting the next murder. Could it be both? The cops were looking for the part-timers that had been handing them out, but nobody could find much of anything in the way of clues. There was something very different about Vampira compared to the previous cases. I love the quiet beats they have going on every now and then. There'd been signs of it during the crucified case, but this latest murder really felt like a theatrical crime, a spectacle meant for public consumption. Some pundits were suggesting things like bringing more cops into Shibuya or establishing a curfew for anyone under a certain age. But the number of young people visiting the city showed no sign of going down. Scramble Crossing and Center Street were as packed as ever. Taboo instead of Yahoo! That's fun. Nippon taboo! The net was in an uproar. Several snakes, or internet detectives, were going around Shibuya and giving live reports on what they saw. A popular new phrase was spreading among the youth of the city. Whose eyes are those eyes? I have learned that it is actually whose eyes are those eyes, like the eyes is repeated. Or at least that's what someone in chat told me, and I'm going with it. It was just... sorry. It was spreading, not just online, but among the documents who had walked around the streets of Shibuya. On Etchen, people were putting the phrase at the end of messages that had nothing to do with New Gen. This week's Blood Tune didn't even have enough Seda. This week's Blood Tune didn't have enough Sedatan. Whose eyes are those? The new weapons they added in the latest patch are kind of shit. Whose eyes are those eyes? What kind of whose eyes are those is that? What? Like that. New Gen was nothing but a source of fun for the youth of the city, but to me it was an absolute nightmare. That said, 3 days after the vampire incident, it started to calm down. Of course, it was still in the back of my mind, but a solid weekend of ESO had helped me forget all the awful and unexplainable things that had happened. Aw, she's sleeping now. I can probably make the face cam big for a second, right? Can I just make it full build for a second? Now I have to physically do it? Okay. Look there! She's sleepy. She's sleeping. No, wait. You can't see that. Why can't you see that? Oh, can you? Wait. Wait. I need to check Twitch. I don't know if you can. Let's see. No? Oh, yes, you can. Okay, cool. That is fun. Okay, now let me. Can I do... No, I cannot just control Z it. Wait. Oh no, what did I do? Okay. I got it. Easy. This is easy. This is not a problem. I'm a pro. Easy. Okay. I was about here? Right? No, not quite. Wait. Oh god, now the gameplay is slightly off. Okay. Tiny bit higher. And a little smaller, I would say. I don't need to be this huge. Oh, that's what my mom says to me. Sorry. Okay. No, wait. Not okay, actually. Almost okay. Here we go. Let me check my WhatsApp while I'm at it, because my partners are coming over. Okay, perfect. Today was a school day and I even managed to make it through the day's classes by sleeping or thinking of rare ESO items. I'd grown up a little. And so, like always, I headed to Ad Cafe after school ended. I was happy to see that my designated spot, room 37, was open. It'd been 2 weeks since the last time I'd come here. It was the first time there'd been such a long gap. 2 weeks. Damn. The musty smell of the breeze coming from the air conditioner, the stench of the cigarette smoke clinging to the manga, the pleasant feeling of the reclining seats, and the silence punctuated by the snoring of middle-aged men. It felt so good to be back. I looked at the chat log of the PC in room 37 too. And what I learned was, this whole thing was an act you put on. Shogun is you. I hadn't seen you since then. We were in different grades and I didn't go to school that often in the first place, so of course we wouldn't run into each other that often, but Yua's delusions were crazy. I felt so bad for her. She must have had a terrible mental disorder. Right, yeah, totally, that's what it is. I mean, she is mental, don't get me wrong, but not in that way. It was best to just ignore people like that. Things with Yua had just been a disaster from the start. For the past 2 weeks, I'd been dragged into one mess after another. Until then, my life had been incredibly peaceful. The only person who talked to me was Mizumi. Why was all this bizarre stuff happening to me lately? Whose eyes are those? Eyes. I didn't even want to think about any of it. That dying message was just a coincidence, I decided. I mean, they were all really common words. If somebody with a brain like mine could come up with them, anybody could. I thought you were so smart. I didn't care who that message was meant to reach. No, that wasn't it. I couldn't let myself care. So I suddenly heard a noise nearby. I shuddered in my reclining seat, shocked. It was the sound of a phone ringing, but whose? The place was silent, so the ringing sounded really loud. I looked around, but I couldn't see a phone. Oh, could it be? He's such a fucking moron. I suddenly had an idea and looked inside my bag. Just like I thought, it was the phone. It was his phone. Trembling, I looked at the screen. Phones were supposed to show the number of whoever was calling you, right? Should I pick up? But I didn't really like talking to people. Real. Who was calling me anyway? I hadn't given this number to anybody. The only one who knew it were Nanami and the rest of my family. She'd put their names in my contacts too, even if I hadn't asked her to. If the number dialing me was one registered in my contacts, it should display the name instead, which meant that it wasn't my family. So, who could it be? The phone kept ringing. Were people always this persistent when they called your cell phone? I'd never used one before, so I didn't know for sure, but it was really annoying. Yeah, it is! They were just barging into my private space and ringing the phone until I answered. That was a violation of my privacy, wasn't it? That's why I never wanted a phone to begin with. Oh my god. Oh, it stopped. Relieved, I looked at the phone's liquid crystal screen. One missed call, it read. I didn't know who'd called, but I certainly didn't feel like calling back, so I decided to just ignore it. As you usually do. I should learn how to set up voicemail so this didn't happen again. Cell phones were such a pain. I didn't like phones anyway. I mean, they were really weird. How was anybody ever sure that the person they were talking to was really who they said they were? There were a lot of phone scams out there, right? Did people not bother to check? I just couldn't understand how somebody could talk to someone else then they weren't even sure they were real. When they weren't even sure they were real. I understood the physics principles that let you talk to somebody far away via a phone, but I still found it hard to believe. When you talked on the phone, your voice was turned into an electronic signal. This signal was transmitted down a wire to the person on the other end, and then turned back into a voice so they could be heard. In other words, if you wanted to talk to somebody on the phone, your voice needed to be transformed a minimum of 2 times. For a cell phone, first the electrical signals created from your voice were sent to a nearby cell tower, then transferred to a switching center via normal telephone lines. From there, they were sent to the tower nearest to the person you were talking to, and then sent via electromagnetic waves to their cell phone. It was an incredibly complicated and bizarre process. If my voice was being transformed into electrical signals, could the person I was talking to really hear every single thing I was saying, exactly the way I said it? Wasn't there a chance that in the process of turning it into an electrical signal, it could end up being turned into something else altogether? For instance, say I called Nanami, and instead of my voice being sent directly to her, it was sent to some weird building somewhere. And there somebody I'd never met could pretend to be Nanami. Maybe I wasn't even talking to a person, I could be talking to a computer. That's why talking to the phone was so scary to me. He would lose his shit over 2024 internet. He would go live in the woods because he could not handle AI in the form that we have it in 2024. It was scarier than even talking to someone in person. Good boy. You're such a good boy. The dog is sleeping and he's very cute. I logged into ESO as Lieselotte and 3 hours passed quickly. It'd been 2 weeks since I'd logged in as Lieselotte, but today I was able to do a great job with the character and was really satisfied. I left for home in a great mood. Center Street was as loud and obnoxious as ever. I always hated it. And thanks to all the store's lights, it was so bright that it didn't feel like nighttime at all. Does he ever stop whining? Oh my god. At the end of the well-lit street, I saw someone in the crowd and recognized them instantly. I froze. That girl was... Oh my god. Yo, I didn't think I was playing Fate's Day Night. What? Okay, sure. Staring at me intently and ignoring the huge crowds around her. In the middle of Center Street, where it's hard to even walk straight among the endless streams of people, she was standing stock still, holding a huge sword on her shoulder. It was a bizarre scene. But nobody seemed to notice the sword. They parted around her like water in a stream, breaking against a rock, moving without the slightest change in expression. It was the girl I'd seen at the 107 building. She'd been there when I'd gone to buy a phone with Nanami. Yet she's also the girl who asked you who you were when you went by the class 3 people in your school? Classrooms, whatever. The shape of the sword, the surimi, Sume uniform, the long black hair. This is black? She does not have purple hair. She has purple hair. What do you mean black? That is purple. Is the uniform black too? Is the sword black too? What do you mean? It all matched. This was the girl who'd been watching the crowds from up on the stairs of the 107 building. And I remembered something else when I saw the intensity of her eyes as she looked at me. I'd seen her at school too. Yeah. Long, shiny, purple hair that extended down to her waist, oval eyes, a pretty but intimidating face. It was Girl B, the one who'd so rudely asked me, "Who are you?" in the hallway after school last week. Okay, I didn't need to say all that, but they were saying it anyway, but it doesn't matter. Why was she glaring at me anyway? I turned around to see if anyone was there, just in case I was being self-conscious. I thought maybe there would be someone she knew behind me, but there wasn't. She was looking at me with something that bordered on outright hostility in her eyes. Yeah, it was me she was after. I flinched. This must be how a frog feels when a snake is bearing down on it. There was no way I could glare back. It was hard for me to even meet her gaze. I had no choice but to look down. I should run away, I thought, because that's always what you do. You ignore it and you run away. I hate you. Usually I'd take a left at the intersection where she was standing at and headed across the book fat, but today I'd go around the front of the station. There were a lot of people here, but it was still better than dealing with some scary 3D girl. She might be trying to mug me. He always thinks people are gonna mug him, like he has anything. Like he has anything worth mugging. It looked like Girl B was alone, but it was possible that she had a bunch of her document buddies laying in wait and they were trying to lure out and beat me up. Well, I wasn't going to fall for it. I turned around and couldn't believe what I saw. Huh? For some reason, Girl B was there. I quickly turned around and looked at the intersection where she'd been standing a moment ago. She wasn't there. I looked ahead of me again. She was still there, holding her sword and glaring at me. When did she get in front of me? Nobody could be that fast. You'd practically have to teleport. Oh my god, Edward? How was she able to tell I'd turn around anyway? Hey. Okay, it was her. Her voice was shockingly clear. Wait, let me think again. Hey! I desperately looked around. I wanted to believe that she was talking to someone else. I searched as hard as I could for that someone else she might have meant to address when she said hey. But of course, there wasn't anyone. The only people nearby were a group of salarymen. I always imagine, like celery, like the vegetable. Like just a celery stalk in a little suit, you know? Just a little guy. They looked towards her for a moment, but quickly realized she wasn't talking to them and kept moving. Suddenly she took a step forward towards me. That was all I needed to be fully sure. Girl B was after me. Whoa! Girl, chill! Can you see it? Yeah? Can you stop pointing it at me now? I was terrified. No girl in my 17 years had ever been aggressive towards me. Oh my god. The man was too stunned to speak. A woman being aggressive. Tsubaki Kirimiya, known as Tsunko, could be really mean when she was in a tsundere mood. But not even she was this bad. Shut up. Shut up. Please. Oh my god. Also, she was a 2D character from an H game called Thermidor. Please. You need to shut the fuck up. I hope she kills you. Even as my brain was thinking about tsundere H games, Girl B was still getting closer. She was a girl. How could she be this intense and scary? Though it was strange, but the reason was actually quite simple. She has a weapon? The intensity of her eyes. That, and the huge sword she was carrying. It had an extremely unusual shape for a sword. In an anime it would have looked really cool, but if you tried to use it in the real world, it would probably be completely useless. It had to be from a mecha anime or something. Were there any new mecha anime lately? I knew it was a cosplay prop, but it looked so sharp, so strong, like the slightest touch could take your finger clean off. It was such a strange weapon. I asked if you could see it. Girl B was within 2 meters of me now. If she swung that sword, it was sure to reach me. I quickly took a step back, but it was too late. She got even closer. And then she really swung it. Ah! I crouched to the ground with my head in my hands. If I hadn't dodged, it probably would have hit me right in the head. It probably wouldn't have actually cut me, but with that speed, it could have given me a concussion or caved my skull in. Please don't hurt me. What are you doing? I was so freaked out that I could barely speak. Wow, cool. Girl B was looking down at me coldly. There was something wrong with her. The way she was swinging around a sword in this crowd. Was she a serial killer? Maybe she was the new gen killer. Or working with the demon girl? I hate him. He's so boring. Please don't hurt me. Don't kill me. I was shaking. I was about to piss my pants with fear. Please don't. What's gotten into you? I just asked if you could see it. What was she talking about? If I couldn't see it, would she kill me? I couldn't answer if she wouldn't tell me what I was supposed to be seeing. Calm down a little. I'll ask again. This sword, the D sword, can you see it? Huh? The D sword? I never heard that word before. She had to be talking about that sword she was holding. No shit! I decided to nod. Of course I could see it, how could I not? It was huge and she was holding it in the middle of the center street. I mean, maybe in Akihabara I wouldn't have noticed, but in Shibuya Shibuya wasn't an anime town. I see. So you were gathered here too. Huh? Gathered? Who was gathered? And by who? I was here of my own free will, at least. Have you seen an error? Please do speak Japanese, K, thanks. This is the Japanese version, or like the English, but originally the Japanese version of Sprich Deutsch, du Hurensohn. It was what I wanted to say, but I didn't have the courage. If I said the wrong thing, she'd probably stab me. I didn't have any idea what she was talking about anyway. If you see one, tell me. She turned away after she said that. Her skirt flew up as she turned. I almost saw her panties. I quickly closed my eyes. I'm Sena Aoi. I'm a third-year student. I'll be the train car in front of Hachiko. I'll be at the train car in front of Hachiko. I opened my eyes, and the girl who'd called herself Senna was no longer there. I stood there in complete confusion, and it was only after I got back to the base that I realized I hadn't understood a single thing she'd said. Of all the weeks to have to go to school 3 times, what a depressing day. Hey! I heard a strange cry a few meters away from me. It was so sudden my body jerked in surprise. I looked towards the source of the noise and... Ugh! Brother! Nanami ran over to me at incredible speed. I tried to escape, but it was too late. She got in front of me, blocking me, and she'd always been really athletic. Woo! Hey, why did you try to run when you saw your little sister? Because you're obnoxious, obviously. Look, you got her quiet again. Really, why did my sister decide to go to Sume Academy of all places she could have gone to? It was a huge pain from my perspective. Whenever I saw her at school, she'd come over and annoy me. I hate you. Hey, how's the phone? Are you using it? You're not, are you? It's been a while since you got it and you haven't called home once. I tried to walk fast to shake her off, but she followed me, refusing to give up. At least call home and let them know you're alive. That's what we bought it for you. That's why we bought it for you. If you really don't want to, you can call my phone, I guess. Mom's really worried. Are you eating right anyway? You're just eating junk from the convenience store, aren't you? You're not cut out for living on your own. Come home. Do you understand how it feels for me to watch you live like this? Okay, this is a little intense for like early in the morning before school. I'm always really worried. Shut up. What is your problem? Are you my mom? And why do you have to talk about this in the middle of the street anyway? I'm already in a bad mood and you're just making it worse. It's incredibly embarrassing to have to go to school with your younger sister next to you. Sure, it happened a lot in H games. In fact, I loved it when it happened in H games, but Nanami wasn't nearly as good as a 2D girl. Somebody give me a cuter little sister. Nanami and I walked toward the school side by side, a bad mood simmering between us. I looked over at her, hoping I could get a chance to escape before we reached the school gate. She'd been so mad a moment ago, but now she was quiet and seemed kind of out of it. Her eyes looked like they were drifting out of focus. Or was that my imagination? The footsteps were unsteady. Just as I realized something was wrong, she stepped out into the road. A car was coming right in front of her. What? Hey, watch out! I grabbed her and pulled her close. The car drove past, its horn blaring. She'd narrowly avoided being run over. Hey, what are you doing? Huh? Huh? What? She seemed confused. Her eyes were blinking rapidly. Why did I just do that? Huh? Was she a total moron? Oh my gosh. Why didn't she know what she'd just done? Yeah, because you always know what you have done. Right, Shogun? Just to clear, this wasn't Moe at all. Not Moe in the slightest. What are you doing? Are you trying to get run over by a car? Was there a car? Of course there was. Was she going senile on me? Hey. Oh. Hey, brother. Do you hear that wee sound? Huh? What was she talking about? I hadn't heard a thing at all. I heard the sound and I started to feel kind of weird. And over there, Nanami pointed to the corner. I saw Mom and Dad standing there and calling me. I looked where Nanami pointed. It wasn't my parents there, just some creepy guy. A creepy guy? He wore a checkered shirt, fingerless gloves, jeans with the legs rolled up, and white sneakers. The backpack he also wore was stuffed full. He looked like an otaku you'd see in Akihabara. And he even had a video camera in his hand. Maybe he was some kind of peeping Tom. Hey, don't point at people. What a rude little sister she was. Oh yeah, she's the rude one. Why would our parents be here anyway? Our home was in Shimokitazawa. Shimokitazawa. Jesus. That's weird. I know I heard them calling me. The man looked at us. He was pointing his camera at me and Nanami. Ew, what was his problem? Let's go, Nanami. I got scared and ran away, leaving my sister behind. No. No, really? Oh my god! Oh my god! No, because now I need a bong hit. Okay? Now I need a bong hit. This is no, fuck no. Fuck no. No. How dare he, okay? How fucking dare he? This is probably all because of him. Because the guy can tell the future and is just too much of a dickhead to tell anyone. And, like, to go to a doctor or something. I don't know. Like, oh, I don't want people to test on me. Me. You can see the future. That's like a big deal. Share with humanity, you fucking egotistical bastard. And also, his sister just tried to kill herself. And now he is running? I'm like, you are running? Oh my god. No, because he is awful. The condensated water on the outside of the glass dripped on me. Nyeh. Oh, it's good, baby. Oh, did I scare you? Oh no. Oh. Sweet girl. You wanna come here? Yeah, you wanna come here? Come on. You the cutest. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Let me sit up. Can I sit up? You're just gonna stand on my boobs? My giant man boobs? Yes? Okay. Okay. That works for me. Good girl. Alright. Good girl. She's such an attention whore. She could do this all day. I have cat hair in my face. Also, just in general, as soon as I fucking start streaming, I go all day without feeling the need to touch my face. I start turning the camera on. Oh my god, my nose itches! My nose itches! My nose itches! My nose itches! Like the entire time. It is so bad. I am low-key, like, this is a real worry I have. I have the worry that people are gonna think that I am on, can I say that? On snow. Like, because I touch my nose so much as soon as I turn the camera off. I'm not. Disclaimer, I guess. 420 forever and only. But yeah. My god. Brother, wait for me! Fucking bastard. Oh my god, I remember why I had to take the break. Can I see somewhere how long I've been streaming for? Oh, there. Yes, okay. I managed to ignore Nanami until we got to the school, then headed down the bustling hallway towards my own class. When I walked down the hall, I always walked on the side. I'd always make sure to go at the proper speed, not too fast and not too slow. I'd make sure to keep my head down so I didn't meet anybody's gaze. These were my 3 rules. I needed to be like the air, invisible, if I didn't want to stand out. That was my way of surviving in this world. This motherfucker has complained about no one noticing him. He is having all these thoughts of like how he's invisible, like he needs to disappear and he makes himself a shadow of a person. And then he's whining about people not noticing him. I hate him! Yo, Taku! Once again, however, some appeared who would make doing so impossible. Mizumi ran up to me from behind and, as always, gave me a too friendly slap on the shoulder. I heard a blinky bling. Just need to check if it's important. Nope. It's not. And also... yes, no. Morning! At least say hello. Well, I know that's not really a thing, I guess. Hey, I told you about that girl in Class D, right? The one who's really hot but never comes to school? Huh? Her name's Ayase Kishimoto. And I made a huge discovery about her. He suddenly lowered his voice and looked around to make sure nobody was listening. He was probably about to say something dirty again. I felt vaguely sick and was ready to let out a huge sigh. You know Fez, right? But when I heard what he said, I gasped. This Kishimoto girl is actually Fez! I couldn't believe it! Fez is a student at our school! And she's in our grade, too! Extensive nose touching continues. Very sorry. There's a cat hair somewhere and it's driving me crazy. For some reason, he decided to lean out a nearby window and look up to the sky with an expression of joy. This must be fate, right? No, Fez. Sorry. We were on the 3rd floor. If he slipped and fell, he'd snap his neck and die. I felt tense just watching him. He leaned forward even further and looked down at the entrance to the school. Oh, great timing, Taku! I found Kishimoto! She's coming here now! Aw. That was a crazy coincidence. Maybe there was some kind of fated connection between them, like you said. Not that I cared. Okay, I'm gonna ambush her. At least he's honest. Watch, Taku! I'll show you my pickup techniques. There was a note of total confidence in his voice. It must be nice to be attractive. Picking up girls was a foreign world to me. Not that it was one I had any interest in. Of course not. No. Yo, that is indeed her. A minute or so later, her real name was Ayase Kishimoto, right? Appeared. Mizumi was right, it was clearly her. I stood back, a good distance away, and looked at her carefully. It was a shock to see that she was the same age as me. Fess was wearing her Sumei uniform and walking slowly with a look of ennui on her face. She looked like a completely different person than the way she'd been on stage. When she was singing, there'd been a sense of power and motion in her voice, even when she was speaking softly. But she just looked kind of sad and unapproachable. Mizumi must have seen it and decided to deliberately ignore it because he walked right up to her side with the same over-friendly attitude he always used with me. "Hey, Kishimoto, good morning!" Oh, what a brilliant but completely fake smile. Their sizes are wrong. She is ginormous. Against him, what? No, he's... what? They seem very disproportional. This picture is not working out in my head. They don't look like they are standing on the same floor. They sure as hell don't look like they're standing on that floor. I don't know, that's weird. Okay, sorry. How could you act that way with somebody you'd never met before? He was an inspiration, an idol, but not someone I wanted to copy. Not in the slightest. "Hey, I'm Daisuke Mizumi. Nice to meet you." "Oh, you think it's our first time meeting, right? But it's not. I went to Phantasm's concert the other day, you see, so we've actually met before. And you know the way you were singing then? It was just like awesome, you know? I mean, I'm not a trend chaser. The lyrics and the fact that you're cute was a part of it, but what really amazed me was just how good your band was. Like, it's the perfect match for your vocals. You know, I've been thinking I want to start a band. Could you tell me how to find good band members or, like, give me some band-related advice?" "Oh, I know, you're probably busy now. You got time after school? Want to go somewhere where we can have a nice long chat?" Mizumi kept talking and talking. The way he spoke was different than usual, and his voice was louder and more cheerful. And he wasn't directly hitting on her either. He was talking about her band as an excuse to go out with her. I'd never heard anything about Mizumi wanting to start a band. It had to be a lie. I understood now. He wasn't just hoping the two of them had something in common. He was setting it up so that they would. But she just kept walking. Fess didn't even look at him. She walked right down the hallway as if she didn't hear anything at all. Queen. Yes. "Hello? Are you listening?" Fess suddenly stopped. She looked up ever so slightly and slowly and looked right at me. Huh? Me? I remembered how it felt like Fess was looking at me at the concert. Over the last 2 weeks, a lot of 3D girls had been staring at me. What was going on with that? Had I suddenly gotten really attractive? God, I hope not. I looked away, of course, so my gaze only met hers for a second. "Find it quickly, the sword." Fess suddenly spoke. Her words were cold and soft. I couldn't tell if they were directed to me or Mizumi. "The sword. Find it and you'll be saved." Fess looked down without waiting for an answer and began to walk once more. She went past us into Class D's classroom. Both me and Mizumi watched her go, confused. "Hey, Taku!" I could tell he was in a bad mood. Despite all his best efforts, Fess had completely ignored him. Having someone refuse to even acknowledge you exist must be pretty painful. Need to change how I am sitting again. 1 second. Despite all his best efforts, Fez had completely ignored him, having... Oh, yeah, right, I already read that. I was used to that, though. I've never had my pride just destroyed like that. You're ruining my self-confidence, damn it! She thinks she's special just because she's a little famous. Oh, showing our true colors as soon as we get rejected, are we? Man, I'm never talking to an ice bitch like that again. What a pain. What the hell did she mean anyway? Find the sword. The sword. Did she mean that thing at the concert? The one that looked like a mic stand? Come to think of it, just 2 days ago, somebody else had asked me about a sword. The girl named Senna. She was really scary. I thought she might actually kill me. That sword she'd been holding was shaped different, but it was similar to the one that Fez had at the concert. Was there some kind of connection between the two? I didn't understand. There was far too much I didn't understand. Indeed. Shogun, the demon girl, Yua, Fez, Senna, the swords. Like always, whenever I didn't understand something, I made a little list inside my head. I thought about adding myself to the bottom of the list, but stopped. I was just fine. It was everything else around me that was weird. Yeah, I was just fine. Sure. Was Fez on my side, or was she my enemy? That was all I needed to know, but I didn't have the courage to talk to her. Today I went to Animate instead of going to Ed Cafe. Why? To get my long-awaited blood-tuned Satan post-awakening version figure. Well, we all know what that means. We're gonna see Yua again. When I bought it, I saw an image of Yua's face in my mind for just a second, but I quickly shut down that line of thought. There was a Sedatan display at the store, and the figure they had out for the show was every bit the quality work I'd come to expect from its designer Yoshio Kijima. Time to head home and stare at every inch of her body. All I had to do to be happy was to play ESO and stare at Sedatan once in a while. So why were these 3D people bringing all their problems to me? Why did this keep happening? As I forgot all about Fez and the sword and was happily returning to the base. Oh. I ran into a pair of men who looked out of place just 50 meters or so from home. I tried to avert my gaze and avoid them, but one of them was clearly looking directly at me. Ooh. Hey, can we talk for a minute? The one who spoke to me first was an unimpressive-looking middle-aged man, the kind you might see at a betting track. Damn roasted. His hair was a mess and he had stubble on his chin. His suit was tattered and his necktie wasn't tied right. His leather shoes showed no sign of ever being cleaned, and he just looked like an overall loser. I guess it takes one to know one, right? Right, Takumi? For some reason, he was waving a cheap 100 yen paper fan at himself, which only added to the impression that he was one of life's losers. You asshole, you judgy little shit, bro. He had a dopey look on his face, too. A really stupid-looking grin. I hate you! But when I met his gaze for a second, I saw no traces of that stupid grin reflected in them. He's the Oishi type. There was nowhere to run. As I stood there unsure of whether or not to answer, the two of them walked over to me. Here, this is my ID. He took out a black notebook with an ID on the flap and showed it to me. It was a police notebook, like you saw on the shows. They'd finally come for me. There was only one reason I could think of. The crucified killing. Can we talk for a minute? Of course you don't have to if you don't want to. Oh, don't get so tense. Really, we just want to ask a few questions. There was absolutely no pressure in his voice, but the other detective with him, the younger one, had a stern look on his face and had quietly moved to block my path. Really? Fucking rookie. I started to sweat. If I said the wrong thing here, they might think I was the killer and arrest me. Please, no! I gave up on running and nodded very slightly. So, have you heard of the so-called new generation madness? I knew it. I wiped the sweat off my brow and nodded. Then, of course, you know about the third case, right? Crucified. It happened nearby. We're looking for witnesses. Oh, can I get your name? I gulped. Was this whole thing a Kome's trap? Bro, they want to explain LOL to me, but not whatever the fuck they just said? Assholes. Maybe they were just pretending to be the police, trying to get me to reveal my private information so they could use it for something bad. Or maybe they were working with the demon girl. Shut the fuck up. Oh, you don't want to answer? There was no way to be sure either way. What should I do? If I gave them a fake name, they might arrest me. Oh, you're worried about the Protection of Personal Information Act. Do I look that sketchy? You do. That friendly way you're talking to me is just an act, right? Takumi Nishijo. In the end, I couldn't come up with any brilliant plans to talk my way out of this, so I decided to just tell the truth. Takumi Nishijo. That's right. I nodded. Really? Huh? What the hell did he mean? Well, I was nice enough to give you my real name. Why are you reacting like that? Excuse me. Forget that I said that. Damn, he knows our name. He knows something about us. That is interesting. 1 second. Oh my god, it is 4:20. The time is 4:20 in the afternoon. That's fun. Oh, stop it. Okay. It is the middle of the day. It is Saturday and it's the middle of the day. So sometimes I need to check my WhatsApp. Because as I said, my partners are also coming over. I have 2 partners. Yeah. Forget I said that. Am I not clicked? Okay. His laugh was a little too loud to be real. It echoed throughout the quiet street. I want to go home. So, I see from your uniform that you're a student at Sume. What year are you in? Did I have to tell him that too? Second. Sorry, I couldn't hear you. I'm getting old. My hearing's going. Can I get you to say that again? Second year. Second year. Got it. Thanks. So, Nishijo, I want to ask you where you were and what you were doing between 6 and 10 p.m. on the 29th of last month. Was this one of those alibi things that they suspect I'd done it? No way. No, we don't think you did it or anything. Just if you were in the area when the crime took place. We were wondering if you saw anybody suspicious or heard any weird sounds. Things like that. The way he talked was starting to really make me mad. Maybe it was some kind of special technique he used to anger the people he was talking to. Could be. Wouldn't be out of... I'm trying to finish the sentence. But I had seen someone suspicious. I'd gotten a clear look at them. I wasn't sure if I was safe to tell him, though. If it was safe to tell him. What if I did and the demon girl came after me? For now, she seemed to be leaving me alone, but she had Shogun with her and he could see the future. She must have all kinds of crazy powers herself. It was the only explanation. No, it's a stupid explanation that you made up. If I told the police about the demon girl, she might find out about it with her clairvoyant powers, and then she might come to kill me. So, Nishijo, is it that hot out today? Damn, that asshole. My pulse quickened. If I didn't answer, they were sure to think I was the criminal, but it felt like if I said I hadn't seen anything, they'd see right through me. The man waved his fan at me. Cool air ruffled my hair. It's autumn now, not summer. It shouldn't be hot enough to make you sweat. Well, I guess everybody's different. It was strange to hear from a man who carried a fan around. To hear that from a man who carried a fan around. But he was right. It wasn't that hot today. It was a pleasant temperature, if anything. I wiped away the sweat from my brow with my sleeve. I didn't do it. Oh? His eyes changed. I knew I'd screwed up, but I didn't know how. What didn't you do? He suspected me. I had to tell him. I stared at the cover of the manhole near my feet as I yelled. I saw it! There was a girl at the scene of the crucified killing. Her hands were all bloody. She was in front of the lobby. There were all these stakes pounded into it. There had to be over 500. It was crazy. The body, it looked like a porcupine. She looked at me and said, "I'm so glad," and she smiled. That girl is a demon. She's not even human. The new gen killer is beyond human. She can see the future, and she has all these powers. Damn. Only then did I realize the two detectives were looking at me with their mouths wide open in shock. Maybe they didn't believe me. I felt silent again. A demon, huh? I see, that's good, solid evidence. Really? Yeah, I totally understand. That is really valuable. Please, have the police protect me. First, do you know how old she is? What was she wearing? What was her face? What her face looked like? What did her face look like? Okay. Sume. Sume? You mean Sume Academy? She wore a Sume uniform. So, she's a student at your school. He thought for a moment, then grinned. It was hard to tell if his next words were a question or a whisper. What year would you say she was in, this girl? What year do you think she was in, Nishijo? I don't know. Alright. What do you think her name is? I don't know. I don't know the demon girl's name. How about her height? Weight? Oh, what about her underwear measurements? Who was this guy? Was he making fun of me? How the hell would I know any of that? I don't have the magic power of determining a girl's measurements just by looking at her, like the hero of some harem manga. I see. If you're not answering, it means you don't know, right? That's fine, just fine. Thank you for your cooperation. We're going to have to take this back to the station and consider it. Really? The older detective made a motion with his hand to silence the younger one and then shot him a meaningful glance. Oh, Nishido, can we get your number? Why? They didn't believe me after all. They thought I was crazy. They were going to accuse me of doing it. They didn't believe me after all. Well, there's that, demon, was it? We need to protect you from her, right? Oh, I see. Good. They believed me. I'd feel so much better if the police were protecting me. Of course, maybe even the police couldn't do anything about a demon, but it was better than being all alone. Feeling a little relieved, I took out my new phone and showed the detectives the number. The younger one copied it down. Thanks for your time. The police will make sure you're safe, so don't worry about a thing. Also, we might call if we have more questions, alright? Make sure you pick up, okay? Right now you're an important person to us. Huh? Your testimony is a big clue. It might help us solve this case. See you later. The two of them bowed and quickly left. The younger one was looking back at me and whispered something to his partner. Bro, he's crazy. The oldest one was walking quickly and ignoring him. I let out a deep sigh. Wow, that was nerve-wracking. Had never been interrogated by a real police officer. It was pretty scary, but they seemed to believe me. Maybe. No, bro. You spouted nonsense. I hoped the police would catch the demon woman. But everybody said the police were incompetent, right? So I shouldn't get my hopes up too much. Only then did I notice how thirsty I was, so I bought a bottle of soda from a nearby vending machine. Oh, the post-awakening costume is so hot. You can totally see her panties. I like that, though. Her face is so cute. It's not quite like in the anime, but it's every bit as sexy as you expect from Yoshino Chikijima. Good job, man. Oh wow, her jacket can cast off too. From this angle, she looks practically naked. Yahoo! The way her hair seems like it's moving is great. Her hair is what really makes it the post-awakening version special. I always thought I was right. Now it's finally time for the panties. Let me see. They obviously put a lot of effort into designing the V-zone. The way it wrinkles is very realistic. Oh, is this a crease? Wow, this is awesome. Truly Takaski quality. Do I want to know? A Japanese internet expression meaning too high. Me for referring. This particular expression is a complicated kanji pun of the type that was popular on the internet message boards in the mid-2000s. It has long since fallen out of fashion, however, and attempts to use it in modern-day Japan would likely be met with bewilderment. Okay. I think the fifth Sarah figure might turn out to be the greatest of them all. I don't think they could make a better one, really. Kijima's a true master. I carefully placed my new Seraton next to the PC monitor. Oh, right, yeah, this new one. I like the color of the outfit more, I guess. Sarah, you're so sexy. Just looking at her made me grin. This was a moment of pure joy. I logged onto Edchan to share my thoughts on the Seraton figure. When that was done, I checked my email and looked at FreePara to see if I had any new friend requests. Oh, somebody sent a friend request. Who's this guy? Somebody from the Seda community. Okay, got it, sure thing. And just when I was ready to log into ESO, I felt a prickling on the back of my neck. It was the same intense gaze that I always felt. Whose eyes are those? Damn it, not now. When did I start feeling that gaze? I'd totally forgotten by now. But it kept getting in my way. A lot of things were happening that would interrupt my daily life, but the gaze was right up there with Nanami for being obnoxious. Okay, time to play the game again. Time to play the I'm not turning around that easily game. I kept my eyes locked on my computer monitor and tried to think of a cool line. You there, come out. Did you think you could deceive my eyes, fool? Fucking nerd. There was no answer. Of course there wasn't. It'd be scary if there was one. Oh! Oh! Huh? I heard a noise. I turned around to look before I realized what I was doing. I'd lost today's don't turn around game. There was nobody in my room. Was I hearing things? I hoped so, I told myself. Again. I heard the sound again. I couldn't lie to myself anymore. It was the sound of somebody knocking on the door, which meant someone was there. Nobody ever came here. Even the people selling newspapers wouldn't come all the way up here. Who could it be? A delivery guy? No, I wasn't getting any packages today. Nanami? No, Nanami would pound louder and harder, and then she'd scream, "Brother, open up!" I'd recognize it if it was her. Yua? That was likely. She'd been here once before. Had the demon girl sent her here to kill me? But if so, would she go through the trouble of knocking? Why would she go through the trouble of knocking? The knocking sound kept coming. I froze, trying to figure out what to do, but no good ideas came to me. I just kept getting more and more scared. I know, I could just pretend not to be here. Or is that just being paranoid? But I should be careful, right? Shibuya's been really dangerous lately. And if it was you, I couldn't let her in. I'd basically be asking for her to kill me. Wait, did I lock the door? I looked over towards it to see. It was too dark to tell if the door was locked, however. I softly stood up, walking over to the door while being as careful as possible not to make any noise. Oh. By the time I made it to the middle of the room, I was finally able to tell for sure. The door wasn't locked. A cold chill ran down my entire body. My heart beat faster from nervousness. Right now, anybody could just walk right in and kill me. I needed to hurry and lock the door. If I made any kind of noise, it would be obvious that I was here, but it would be better than letting someone inside. I ran over to the door. And stepped on the container of a convenience store dinner I'd bought. I slipped and fell right on my butt. I moaned from the intense pain. And then the door slowly began to open right before my eyes. I didn't know who it was, but whoever had been knocking was opening the door. I tried to force myself to stand up, but my body refused to move from the pain. All I could do was watch it open as tears ran down my face. First I saw the hand. The sleeve was from a Suimei Academy uniform. I could tell that much. Then the hair. It was a little longer than Nanami's, but it was shorter than Yua's. I didn't know who it belonged to. And then I saw the face peeking out from the other side of the door. Yo! Yo, what? Holy shit. Oh my god, he's gonna freak out. I would be so happy if he could just, like, chill out and hear her out before panicking. But that's not gonna be the case. Hello. And then I knew who it was. Someone unexpected. The worst possible someone. My vision threatened to go black from the sheer despair. It was the demon girl. It was the demon girl! Oh, there you are! Our eyes met. She suddenly smiled happily. Her smile made me shiver. Why didn't you answer me? Oh, she called. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Her other hand was still behind the door. She must be holding one of those cross-shaped stakes in it. She was here to kill me at last. She was smiling with joy at the thought of killing me. It was because I talked to those cops. She'd used her clairvoyant powers to see me doing it remotely. Don't get me. I tried to scream, but I was too scared to get the words out. Da 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 da? She stared at me, tilting her head and reciting a strange spell. She must be speaking in the demon language. She was going to curse me. I crawled away, trying to get as much distance between me and her as possible. My hands kept slipping on the garbage as I crawled, but I managed to make it to the far end of the room and hide under my computer desk. Hey, can I come in? Actually, I'm gonna come in no matter what you say. The demon girl came inside. She even took her shoes off. Okay, I'm inside. Oh, I don't mind the mess, don't worry. The door shut. Now there was nowhere to run. But surprisingly, the only thing she was carrying was her bag. I didn't see any kind of weapon. No, it had to be that in that bag. I couldn't let my guard down. The second I let my guard down, she would come for me. Or maybe that spell a second ago had cursed me. In a few days, my body might start to spout blood from all its pores, and then I'd die. Please, don't kill me. I crawled up into a little ball on the floor, cursing the detectives I'd met earlier. I'm sorry that I told the police. The police? And I don't think they actually believed anything I said. That was just a lie I'd said to buy time. The detectives had said they'd protect me. If that older guy was doing his job right, he'd surely send an officer to protect me. Then I realized. I told the officer my phone number, but I hadn't given him my address. Snap! Huh? She suddenly struck a pose like she was at attention. And then, even more strange, she made the sound effect of her hand snapping to attention with her mouth. Was this another demon spell? Okay, she said it. Not talking to yourself! Kill you? Police? I don't know what you're going on about! She didn't know? Was this some kind of joke? Or was this her way of telling me to forget that anything had happened? What was this girl thinking? Had she come here to kill me? Come on, can you stand up? Give it a try. The demon walked over to me and offered me a hand. Her expression looked so kind, and up close I could tell that she was pretty cute. Wait, what had gotten into me? She was a demon, she wasn't pretty cute. And she was a murderer. She'd used Yua and Shogun to try and set me up, and now she was here to kill me herself. I couldn't let myself believe her. I learned my lesson with Yua. I'd never make the same mistake again. I didn't take the hand she offered me. I couldn't let her smile fool me. It was a demonic temptation, and if I gave into it, I'd die. Don't believe in anything. Don't listen to anything anyone says. But I saw you. I saw you killing someone. Sako, do you realize what you're saying? That you're saying something pretty mean? It's hard to believe you're really calling me a killer. What was she doing here? Nugent. Like the other 4 times. You're going to kill me, right? Or are you going to take me where Yua and Shogun are waiting? Yua? Shogun? Who are they? Maybe the 3 of them were going to work together and kill me when I was helpless. Please, no. Don't hurt me. Okay. If you promise not to treat me as a murderer, I won't hurt you. I knew it. Come on, stop being so scared. You're really trying to make me feel depressed, aren't you? Please, I'll never tell anyone, so let me go. Hello, Taku! Calm down a little. She kept calling me Taku like we were friends. How did she know my name anyway? She'd known my name when we'd first met at the scene of the crucified killing. How? And how did she know where the base was? Of course I know. The reason I know your name is... She read my mind. She had magic clairvoyant powers. I knew it. That's how she found my name and address. Oh my god. Taku, you talk to yourself a lot. I've always thought this, but... Always? Since when was always? Wait, was I talking to myself? I couldn't tell. Really? Was I really talking to myself? Or was it possible she was lying? Was it possible she read my mind? Of course I know your name, Taku, but I'm not that good at remembering things, but... I can remember my friend's name. Friend? Or is this your way of saying I'm stupid? I mean, I don't get very good grades on my tests, sure. But it kind of hurts to hear to my face. Was she crazy? Wait, how could I be sure that she was the crazy one? Was I crazy? Or was she? An incredible amount of introspection from Takumi over here. For his standards, obviously. Maybe transfer student? Oh yeah, there's a transfer student coming soon. Mr. Tsukachin was talking about it. We're talking past each other. The fear that I could be killed at any moment was starting to fade, but instead another type of fear was slowly working its way through my heart. Hello? Don't tell me you still don't believe me. Who are you? She was a murderer, the demon girl. Wow, you don't even remember the face of your own classmate. That's really mean. We're classmates? Not just friends, but classmates? Oh well, I guess you don't come to school that often anyway. Still, it's kind of mean to just pretend I never existed. By the way, did you forget my name? Yes. Yes, you did, didn't you? I'm a little shocked. Oh. I'll help you remember then. I'm... Imi Sakihata. Wait, you're not even reacting? Imi Sakihata. Do you remember now? I'd never even heard the name Rimi Sakihata before. The only 3D girl I knew would talk to me like this was Yua anyway. And Yua worked for her. In a flash I suddenly understood. The Sakihata girl was using the same trick Yua had used. She was being all friendly, knowing I wasn't used to talking to 3D girls. She'd set me up for a trap. Of course, I didn't remember the faces of all my classmates, and I wasn't interested in trying, but I was sure I'd never seen her in my class. Wasn't I? No, I couldn't be sure. Every minute I spent at school, I spent at my desk, either enjoying delusions while pretending to sleep, or staring at the desk, or pretending to read a textbook. I didn't remember any of my classmates' names. I'd never cared enough to which was it? Was what this girl was saying true? No. It didn't matter whether or not she was a classmate. The one thing I was sure of was that she was a murderer. Taku, does your memory just not work at all? Oh, whatever. Okay. Ask Daichin then. Daichin? What the hell was that? A person's name? Some kind of code? A demon spell? Oh my god. You know, Daichin, Daisuke Mizumi. Huh? She knew Mizumi's name and she called him Daichin? You wouldn't do that unless you were pretty friendly with him. So, here. The demon girl found my phone on the sofa and picked it up, offering it to me. She wanted me to call Mizumi, maybe. I didn't like calling people, but if I didn't do it, she might kill me. Helplessly, I decided to call him, but I realized I didn't know Mizumi's phone number. I froze. The demon girl seemed confused before going around to my side and looking over at the phone. Her hair rustled a little, and I could smell the sweet scent of her shampoo. She was a demon. I couldn't let her tempt me. I wasn't into 3D girls. Say that don't give me power! Do you not know his number? Oh, why didn't you say so? Sorry. She apologized and took the phone from my hand. For a moment our fingers touched. She was warm. I guess even a demon had the same blood in their veins as a human. Let's see. Let's see. Daichin's number is... Tap. She quickly tapped in the number. From the speed that she typed it at, it had to be one she knew well. Here you go! She offered me the phone. I didn't know what to do, so I took it and held it to my ear. I could hear the sound of the ringing, but then the sound cut off and instead I heard Mizumi's voice. Hello? Oh. Someone answered. The person on the phone didn't give their name. They must have been outside somewhere downtown because I could hear the hustle and bustle of a crowd around them. Who is this? I really hated phone calls. I couldn't be sure if I was even talking to Mizumi. The voice sounded similar, but maybe slightly different. Taku! Did Daichan answer? She was staring at me again, this time from right in front of me. Damn it, why did she have to be so close to me? I turned my back to her and steeled myself. Nishi... Oh, it's you, Taku! Was it just me or was Mizumi acting weird? How had he known it was me so quickly? All I said was Nishi. I didn't recognize your number. Did you buy a phone? It was possible that she was just having me call somebody with a voice similar to his to fool me. The person with the Misu-like voice was working for her, maybe Mizumi-like, and trying to trick me. Maybe the demon girl knew that I don't have Mizumi's real number and had set this up from the start. I was starting to get suspicious of everything. I didn't know what was the truth and what was a lie. Assuming the demon girl was willing to put in the time and effort to set up a trap like that, what kind of trap was it specifically? Wouldn't it be faster for her to just kill me here? Or was there some reason I had to be deceived, even if it meant doing so in a really roundabout way? Wait, could it be some kind of trick Mizumi was setting up? This girl was his girlfriend, and not a classmate at all, but someone he'd sent just to make fun of me? No, wait, not a chance. How would you explain the crucified murder then? Yeah. So, Taku, what do you want? Oh, so Taku, what do you want? I never thought I'd actually get a call. Oh, I never thought I'd actually get a call from you. Well, I really don't like... Well, I really don't like getting calls from guys, you know. It certainly sounded like Mizumi. The more I heard him talk, the less likely it seemed that the person I was talking to could be anybody but Mizumi. You want me to teach you how to pick up girls? Nah, of course not. I wasn't sure where to start. I could feel someone looking at me from behind me. The girl was staring at me. And the prickling on the back of my neck was still there. What was the look on her face now? I wanted to look back and see, but I was too scared. If you don't need anything, I'm gonna hang up. I don't have time to sit here in silence with you. I'm with a girl right now, okay? Wait. Well, what is it? If you have something to say, then say it. Well, what is it? Come on, spit it out. Yeah, class. What about our class? There is what? Is what there? A girl. Oh my god. Huh? A girl named Sakihata? I was stammering really badly, but I finally managed to explain to him. He suddenly fell silent. There was no answer, but I could still hear the bustle of the crowd, so he hadn't hung up. Why wasn't he answering? I heard a massive sigh. Listen, did you play too many video games and break your brain? Hey, what was he talking about? Anyway, it wasn't true that video games damaged your brain. It took me a second. Oh, it took me a second, because you said Sakihata, last name. You're talking about Rimi, right? What? Why? I know you said you're not into 3D girls, but how could you forget about her? I only joined her class this year, but she's been in your class since the start of school. The three of us went to see a movie just the other day. What? I couldn't grasp what this Mizumi-like person was saying. The demon girl and I had been in the same class the whole time. The three of us went to see a movie the other day. When was the other day? The only reason you and I are friends is because Rimi introduced us. She's a weirdo like me. The only people in the world, the only people in the whole wide world who actually care about you are me and her. Damn. Oh, maybe that's going too far. Not a single one of the words coming through the phone felt real. How could they? None of the things he was describing existed in my memories. I couldn't accept that they'd ever happened. What this Mizumi-like person was telling me wasn't true. It wasn't real. If something really happened, you'd remember it. Rimi can sometimes be pretty unladylike. Oh, don't tell her I said that. Who are you? Did you really go crazy? You even forgot me too? Too many video games must have scrambled. I couldn't take any more, so I hung up the phone. I suddenly realized I was having trouble breathing. The sweat coming from my brow showed no sign of stopping. If anything, it was getting worse. I could feel it dripping off me and landing on the ground below. Taku! You're sweating really bad! The demon girl looked genuinely worried as she handed me a handkerchief. It was a cute red one with no pattern on it. The handkerchief had a slightly floral scent. I didn't take it. Instead, I tried to get straight in my head what was going on. It didn't work, though. I just started getting suspicious of everything. So, what did Daichin say? She gave a slightly disappointed sigh as she put away her handkerchief. Then she took on a victor's smile. It was as if she'd known the answer from the start. I didn't have the strength to answer her. Who was this woman? Just my classmate? Or a monster? I didn't know. Maybe I was just crazy. Yeah, it's kind of the most likely explanation right now. Thinking back to my chat with Shogun, I couldn't be sure that somebody wasn't controlling my body. Or maybe there was some kind of accident that took my memories of this Rimi Sakihata girl away from me and left my other memories intact. What the hell was wrong with me? Amnesia? Sleepwalking? Something else? You okay? If it hurts, won't you lay down on the sofa for a while? The demon girl spoke kind words to me. I needed to be especially careful around anyone who said kind words to me. Anybody who'd be nice to a creepy otaku like me definitely had some kind of ulterior motive. I shook my head no and then forced myself to look up. The sweat got in my eyes and made my vision blurry. Her face was closer than I thought it would be. What color were her eyes? Why? What? Why are you here? Oh, sorry for just coming in. But I did knock, you know. You didn't answer at all, and I heard a really loud noise from the inside. I was pretty worried. Why? Now what? Oh. Why are you here? I didn't mean why were you able to get inside? What was she even doing here? If she came here to kill me, why wasn't she doing anything? Oh, the reason I came? Well... Her hand went to her bag, and she took out a handout. Hello? I brought you the handout for your post-graduation plans. I took it from her. It said post-graduation plans with 3 blocks below for first preference, second preference, and third preference. Was that really it? Was that the only reason? Go away! I didn't want anything to do with her. It was a terrible idea to get involved with 3D girls. This was some kind of trap. Don't listen to her. This isn't real. This is a video game. A really buggy game. Look at all these weird plot contradictions. It doesn't make any sense as a story. That's cool. Just leave me alone. If you're not here to kill me, then just go away. I'm me, not somebody else. Maybe the other me was friends with Rimi Sakihata, but that had nothing to do with the real me. I put my head in my hands and closed my heart to the outside world. I shivered, trying to imagine a delusion where the girl named Rimi Sakihata wasn't in my room. I soon heard the sound of the door opening, which told me that the demon girl had left. The only light in the dark room was the pale blue glow of the monitor. It was a screensaver featuring Sera and a character from Bloodtune the animation. Rimi Sakihata had been here in this container house just half a day ago, but now its only occupant was its owner, Takumi Nishito. It was getting close to 5 a.m. Takumi's daily life revolved around playing video games until dawn and then passing out on the sofa. Right now he was curled up in a cramped position on the sofa. He didn't sleep on the bed. He had one, but he didn't sleep in it because it was piled too high with CDs and manga volumes. At first he'd just been too lazy to clean it off, and then at some point it began to function as a storage shelf. Ever since then he'd been sleeping on the 2-person sofa. Ugh. An awful moan slipped from Takumi's lips. His body was soaked with sweat and his eyelids were twitching. He might have been having a nightmare. His expression warped with pain. He kept tossing and turning as he lay there, almost falling off. Suddenly his eyes opened wide and he stared at the ceiling. His eyes were bloodshot and the eyeballs themselves seemed to be twitching a little. Whoa. He stood up without it blinking even once and staggered over to his PC. He didn't sit down. Instead, he moved the mouse while standing up. The screensaver on his monitor disappeared and was replaced by his desktop. His expression, illuminated by the pale light of the monitor, was vacant and empty. His body trembled and shook from side to side. Drool pooled and fell from his mouth. He looked exactly like the typical sleepwalker. He opened up his internet browser in a trance and went to the page for Ad-chan. His movements were slow and uneven, but there was no hesitation in his hands as he went directly for the news board's new-gen threads. There were almost 60 in all, and Takumi opened every single one. His gaze was locked on the screen, and he was typing on the keyboard without looking at it. He typed a message into each of the 60 threads. The messages he typed were short ones, and the messages were posted in every thread. The same message was posted in every thread. Whose eyes are those? Name, Shogun. The next day I headed to the hospital. Probably a good idea. Last time I hadn't been able to get the assurance I wanted, but today I was going to make them tell me I was sane. I was going to have the doctor remember me. I was going to tell him that I was his patient until 4 years ago, and then I was going to have him listen to everything I had to say. I bet he's gonna try, and the doctor's gonna be like, I never had that patient. I wasn't the crazy one. It was the demon girl and Mizumi. I knew that's what he would tell me. This hospital opened a date earlier than a lot of them. That's why I decided to come right on time. Only to find the lobby sofas packed with old people. How? How could there be this many people here when it had just opened? Had they all cheated and got here before it opened somehow? That's not fair. You should know the rules better than anyone, like you collect figurines. Lining up in front of stuff before it opens is like your thing. I was angry, but I didn't have any choice but to wait. It was after an hour of waiting that I realized I should have made an appointment. But very shortly after, they called my name, and I was relieved to see that I wouldn't have to wait as long as last time. But the doctor waiting for me in the exam room wasn't Dr. Takashina, but a white-haired old man I'd never seen before. Oh no. Where's Dr. Takashina? The nurse standing behind him, Hazuki, I think, answered apologetically. Dr. Takashina isn't here. Isn't here? He collapsed from overwork last week. He's been out the whole week. Oh no, my one ally. Wait, was it really overwork that had made him collapse? It's a conspiracy. It's the demon girl. Nishijo? She must have poisoned his food or sent him a threatening letter to stress him out. It was the demon girl's doing. She was trying to isolate me. I had no intention of letting anybody but Dr. Takashina talk to me, so instead of getting an exam, I fled from the hospital. Ay, dude. Oh, damn it all. I leaned up against the fence on the roof and looked at the sky. Shibuya's sky was an ugly color. I should stay away from that hospital from now on. The demon girl's net was closing in on me. Maybe there was nowhere for me to run. Maybe that detective I'd met yesterday was actually a fake and working for her. Maybe she'd used him to test me. I mean, the timing was just too good to be a coincidence. She showed up in my room right after the two of them had approached me. She was a demon after all. She wasn't human. She could easily control somebody's mind. I didn't have any proof of this, of course, but I also didn't have any proof that she wasn't a demon. So I just had to assume the worst if I was going to survive. Wasn't there anybody on my side? Everybody felt like my enemy. Everybody felt like they were working for the demon girl. Save me. Oh, save me. Somebody save me. Why didn't I have anybody on my side? Why was no one helping me? Why did this have to happen to me? Oh my god. I felt so lonely. I wanted something to support me. Someone to protect me. Something to protect me. Anything, anybody who could offer me help. Oh, are we gonna get our sword? Is this what is happening? I was wondering why we were outside. Find it, quickly. The sword. Find it and you'll be saved. Suddenly I remembered those words. The sword. If this was a video game, the plot would probably involve me being a hero who needed to find a legendary sword to defeat a demon king. Oddly enough, I'd heard the word sword from 2 3D girls lately. And there was still a chance that Fez was on my side. Girl B, Senna, I think, was likely on the side of the demon girl from the way she'd acted, though. A sword. Sword. Get the sword, and then I whispered to myself as if I was in a trance. I was willing to cling to any hope now, no matter how small. If I could just get the sword, I would be released from this nightmare. I didn't know that for sure, but I had to hope. I didn't 100% believe Fez when she said it would bring me salvation, but I didn't have any other options. I decided to just look into it and see what I found. Search. I ran a search online. First, I checked to see if there were any anime where characters had swords like the ones Fez and Senna had, but I didn't find any. I'd mostly seen that coming. I always kept my eye on upcoming anime. There were 30 or 40 each season, so it was pretty hard, but I always watched the first episode of each series and then decide if I was going to continue it. And of course, I could watch anything that was on satellite TV using YouTube. So there's no way I could have missed one. And I hadn't seen any anime with weird swords, especially ones with such a distinct shape. I would have been sure to remember them if they showed up, and I didn't remember seeing anything like them at all. Unless, of course, I'd been controlled by someone else when I watched the show. Next, I decided to search for the swords themselves, not anime. Crap, it's all video game walkthrough sites. Some of the swords that came up in the results were ones I recognized well, like ESO, Shangri-La, Edge. I wasn't getting anywhere. I needed to find that sword and fast. I had a feeling that Senna Girl had said something more specific. What was it? Remember, or you'll be stuck in this nightmare forever. Answer me. You can see it, right? The D sword. D sword. Right, the D sword. I researched that word. D sword, fantasy term, wiki, amnesia, by a sort of negative darkness unleashed on the world called a D sword, a fictional weapon said to be created in ancient ages of Europe by Gladiale, the king of wicked hearts. Made by feeding on humanity's negative emotions, they eventually come to devour the hearts of the Black Knights who took them. What makes them distinct from other sacred magical swords is that they are said to be I bought a D-sword, block of a board guy. I bought a sword, it's called a D-sword, I heard. I just love how freaking weird it is. Town Vanguard is my heart's oasis. These days you don't many stores as weird as sorry, I skipped a bit while trying to read that. And I got hits. Just 2, but these 2 links felt like the path that would save me. Desperately trying to calm my excitement, I decided to click on the top one first. Shit. 404 not found. Page not found. The page she requested can't be found. Shit, it was down. Damn it. Why did it have to be a dead link? No, I needed to calm down. I just had to go back and click on the caged version. I don't understand why they called it wiki pedophilia. Like, it's not funny. I don't know. The page had an illustration. It was based off a description in an old text, supposedly. What makes them distinct from other sacred magical swords is that they are said to be invisible. An unarmed warrior would wave his hand, and just as in the tales of the Kamaitachi, their foe's arm would be cut clean off from their body and fall to the ground without them so much as feeling it. There are many tales in the old legends of weapons like this which defied natural law, and the D-swords themselves appear in several apocrypha and ancient texts. The D swords are considered to be another instance of the Kamaitachi phenomenon. Kamaitachi are fictional creatures often depicted as monsters with sharp scythes on their forelegs, but this is best understood as an attempt to depict them as the ancients imagined them. They are, in fact, creatures with little physical form, like wind spirits. Modern science has investigated the Kamaitachi phenomenon, and scientists now believe that it originated in a phenomenon seen in places with dry air where vacuum state is formed that can cut skin. Okay.